Yeah, so funky wanna fight.
You know I'm still not a player, but you still a hater. Elevator to the top high. See you later. Meet me and Beatles with noodles. We do this do while he's slurping spaghetti.
Now he's the reigning champ as the first Latino rapper to go platinum.
I'm 300 plus pounds, and I got the sexiest song in the world right now. So,
whoa! He found this dude. This dude's a freak of nature. So I already knew. I looked at Pun. I was like, oh. This is gonna be the Spanish Biggie right here.
Why you running like you killing niggas? You ain't never feel a trigger. Screaming at you real, but y'all still beginners. Capital punishment when I'm up in it, crushing it, busting it out. Make the squill a combination to the safer wells. Yo, my word is born. Long as I'm alive, I'ma put it on.
First of all, tell everybody how you got started before we get into all that.
Nori, let me ask you a question, Nori. How much you miss Big Pun? How much you love Big Pun?
That's probably the toughest question.
Boy.
It's probably the toughest question I ever got asked. Is because, damn, you making me cry, Fat Joe. I never knew Pun was sick, ever. So I remember Flex when I bowed down on the casket. Damn, Joe, damn. When I bowed down on the casket,
right, big bro.
And Flex said to me, you know, he's not suffering no more. And I looked at Flex because I didn't know what Flex was talking about. I never seen Pun suffer, you know. But when I found out later that Pun was suffering and he had narcolepsy and all that, that me up because I was only 18 years old, 21 years old, 20 years old. So I didn't realize what he was going through, and he never showed me that. So, man, I missed that so much, man.
You know what? One more person. Big Pun. Be great for the group, too. Nasty. Big Pun. I like Big Pun, B.
Let me ask you a question. When you heard Big Pun, what do you say to yourself? Joey got one. What do you say when you heard Big Pun?
I said
he's like that. What do you say?
He's an MC. You know, like MCs love MCs. MCs do not front on MCs. Rappers may front on rappers, but MCs know when they hear an MC. That's why, even with me, if I do a girl joint, MCs know the difference. They listening. They say, "Oh wait, I know what that is." They hear the handles. It's like basketball players. They know the handle. Yeah. You hear the handles. You know what it is. That's MC.
I hear it.
Christopher Rios, aka Big Pun, was born on November 10th, 1971, and grew up in the South Bronx amongst a large Puerto Rican community. Shout out to all my Boricuas out there, you already know. Growing up, it was rough in the household for him. His mom was a drug addict, and his pops used to abuse him both physically and mentally. All of this drama would have Pun stressed out, punching holes in walls and all that. During his early teens, he started dating a woman by the name of Liza. They would hang out all day, every day, and would eventually get married.
Then, of course, we exchanged numbers, and he would call me, and we started on a little dating, thing. I introduced him to my mom. My mom took a liking to him, and from there, we just started, chilling every day together. April 8th was the first time that he was like, "Oh, can you be, would you be my girl?" That was when he popped the question, "Will you be my girlfriend?" April 8th of 1987. Obviously, I said yes. Sometimes pick me up at 7 o'clock in the morning. We'll be chilling, walking around all over the Bronx, you know what I'm saying? Going out to Westchester Avenue, going to Parkchester, back to Bronx River, going over there by Watson, by the basketball court, play ball. It's like 7, 8 at night. So I would skip school. I wouldn't even go to school and just go home, chill. Next day in the morning, pick me up at 7, break out, just chill. We used to be some broke motherfuckers, have like $2. Sometimes nobody in the house would, come upstairs, make him something to eat. I would have like $1, $2, buy like the big bakery bread, eat that, you know what I'm saying? But it was like nothing. We never stressed about money. We could have had $1 million, we could have had $1. It was all the same. For some reason, I don't know, I was like his whole world, you know what I'm saying? I was like his first real girlfriend. Not the first person he ever had sex with. I was his first girlfriend he ever had, like, a girl his age. He used to deal with, crackheads and women and, like grown women, you know what I'm saying? He used to deal in the street. know what I'm saying, a lot, so he dealt with that. He never dealt with, you know, a girl.
I wasn't too sure if I wanted to include what she ended up saying about him years later after his tragic death, but I'll put that later in the video. Him and his family was very poor, so he decided to take it to the streets, and selling drugs was the easiest and quickest way to make some cash. However, it wasn't the smartest decision. He ended up getting arrested for a day, but it shook him up so much that he swore he'd never get arrested again. He told his mom he wasn't gonna sell drugs anymore, but his mom kicked him out the crib. For a while, he was going from place to place, trying to get some sleep and get some food, and when he was around 4 or 5, he fell from a construction site and ended up breaking his ankle, which ended up in a lawsuit, and it took a long time to settle, bruh. And by the time he was 18, it was finally over, and he ended up earning $500,000. He would go on to use that money to get right, buy a lot of clothes, get an apartment, and now was the time to focus on what he loved the most, hip-hop. He would then link up with his soon-to-be best friend, Cuban Link. They both had a lot of mutual interests together, like boxing, basketball, and of course hip-hop. Speaking of sports though, he used to be a pretty good athlete in basketball. I mean, just look at my son right here. Yeah, look at him getting up. Stop playing with him. Facts. But yeah, they ended up forming a little crew, along with rappers Triple Seis and Prospect, called Full Eclipse. And one day the crew were chilling in front of a bodega, freestyling and just spitting rhymes, and they didn't know that this day was gonna change their lives forever. That boy Fat Joe happened to be going into that store for a Diet Coke, and when he leaves the store, Cuban Link stopped him and was like, yo, you gotta meet my mans, he's the illest.
I'm coming out the bodega, they freestyle. It's the fatter Puerto Rican guy ready to rap. Right. So he's like, yo, hold on. I'm like, oh my God, what does this guy got to say? Like, you know, I'm the only Spanish dude rapping because he goes, and grab the moon out the sky and blow the sun away. Me and my brothers playing hardcore, strictly hardcore. I was like, oh my God, yo. Come on! Threw him in the whip, and that was that. That night I had him in the studio. He got on my second album. I already knew he was the best.
They started working together immediately, but Pun was like on one condition. Fat Joe was gonna help put on his Full Eclipse crew as well. And at this point, Pun would appear on a few Fat Joe tracks and start buzzing in the underground scene with the tracks Firewater and Watch Out in 1995.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a funny bastard, but when it come to money done, I'm not the one to laugh with. Me and my brothers play hardcore, strictly hardcore, lyrics till I'm finished breaking God's laws.
Fat Joe would later go on to help Pun sign to Loud Records, and in 1997, Pun would go on to release the singles I'm Not a Player and You Ain't a Killer. Both tracks were very successful.
Far from ugly, but they used to say I'm too chubby, but since the money, the honey's got nothing but love for me. I leave you lost, mount you on the cross, whip you like a horse, sacrifice your life to a higher force.
Which differentiates you between Joe and say what the Beatnuts do or maybe the Alcoholics do.
That's the thing. That I do it all, you know what I'm saying? I make you laugh, cry, dance, stay home and chill, just put the headphones on, you know? Get you in that vibe. I got something for everybody.
Okay. I know you got a whole list of influences. I mean, you got the OJs on this joint right here.
Hell yeah.
But who else is Big Pun cooking for?
From everybody from Rakim to Ready for the World, Surface, back to KRS-One, you know what I mean? I had Lover on the radio in New York.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Influences from everywhere.
Not Ready for the World. Oh, Sheena, digital display.
Yeah.
I used to Ready for the World. See, now I'm kind of curious because I haven't heard the album. So God only knows what kind of other music he's going to have on this joint. We're going to talk about that in a minute. We're not going to let him know everything. So I hit a video, come on back. All right, Rap City, don't go nowhere. Big Pun.
The following year, he would go on to drop his debut album, Capital Punishment, and was unfortunately his only solo project while he was alive. The album would eventually go double platinum and he would become the first Latino artist to receive this honor. The album is considered by many hip-hop heads as one of the best hip-hop records of all time, and was critically acclaimed right away.
I'm like the beast with a warrant, far from a Norman, gave you fair warning, now you wanna stand swollen. I don't wanna be playing no more. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot. Dead in the middle of little did we know that every riddle to middleman who didn't do diddly. My wisdom was worth any purse, but had a curse that hurt worse than giving birth. Bottle the rock, freeze the ice, stash the dope and rice, and get ready for the glamour like
When you came up, what, making it happen. We're rapping on the corner to possibly go platinum.
The album was actually nominated at the 1999 Grammy Awards, but ended up losing to Jay-Z's Volume 2 Hard Knock Life.
Is there any advice you would share for some of the people who are listening to us, who are logged on with us on the internet? This is worldwide, by the way.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to tell him, you know, if you're different, that doesn't mean you're odd, and that means you're special. You know what I'm saying? You have to be an oddball, you're special. So always feel that way and try to be different. But that's what people like. When you show them difference in the game, that's what they respect. Nothing wrong being different if it's dope. So, you know what I'm saying? Do your thing and don't matter what nobody says. If you don't know already, I don't know where you've been, you know what I'm saying? But Terror Squad, T-Squad is locking it down right now, you know? Trying to make history again. We already made history. First Latinos to go platinum in hip-hop, you know? Now we're about to take it to the next level. What's the deal?
The album Capital Punishment was also under Terror Squad Entertainment, a record company and group founded by Fat Joe in '97.
We from around the same hood, and one way or another we got together. We started out as a graffiti crew many, many years ago, and then we got into the rap, and I've been in the game like 8 years. My man Full Flex and everybody around the way was telling me they heard some rappers that was dope in the hood. And Prospect was like, you know, amazing. When I heard him, I was like, yo, shorty a star, but we ain't even fully developed Pun yet. So I was like, all right, I kept that in my mind. So sooner or later, when we got in the position, Prospect been on, Armageddon been on since day one. You know, he's like one of the cats saying, you got to flow, Joe. When he was just shorty in the studio I used to work at, one day he kicked around to me, and I was like, yo, he's amazing too. I knew he was destined to be, you know, do his thing. Tony Sunshine been around since he was a kid around the projects. We never took him serious, but he blow. He Pun's artist on Pun's record label. He's Pun's first artist on Foundation Records, and you know, just a family thing. So this year we definitely coming out with a bunch of albums.
Right.
Quality hits. We've been working for a while, you know, just making sure we give people good music they can party to.
And not only was Pun killing it on his solo project, but his features were just as strong, pretty much always having the best verse.
Yo, it's all love, but love's got a thin line, and Pun's got a big respect crime, but not when it reflect mine. Champagne on the rocks, pouring the Fort Knox Lazarus, shark salad with cabbage, pork chops and applesauce. Your own brother blacker than black and leave you in the gutter splattered. It's automatic now with all the static. You priceless, you like diamonds and ice your wrist. You got cheddar, I'm twice as rich, make you bite your lips. I make examples out you ample rappers, smack you, make you trample backward, catch you falling flat, to strap you back in pampers. You make me holler, take it off, I give you dollar, we can party till mañana, ain't nobody gotta know nada. My crew's probably the only niggas that really live the lyrics. Niggas really furious, they must have heard we really killers. Girl, I wanna take you back to Cuba. Brothers are rapping like a rack of soldiers, acting like they cracking boulders with a pack of captain or attack a blowfish. Ha, you ain't got no wins in mi casa, que te pasa? You ain't even in my class.
And on the song John Blaze, even Nas had to change his verse after hearing Pun's verse.
The table turn now, got my own label I earn, like the niggas said in Dead Presidents, money to burn.
In fact, Nas had a lot of praise for Pun,
which explains a lot of his sick-ass verses on other niggas' tracks.
How can I deny it? I had to sit in the studio and say, whoa, I gotta step my shit up, because he's coming for everybody's head right now. Pun gets a 10, he's the top of the line. As far as where he sits in my, you know, category, I mean, I put him with the greatest. I put him with Biggie, I put him with Pac, I put him with Melly Mel and Rakim, and because he came out in this time, and you knew it was real serious. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, there's a lot of rappers out that they're gonna be out for another 3 years, and I'm not gonna take them serious. As soon as Pun came, you know the ones who's the truth. You know it straight off the bat, and he was one of them. He's not in it to be MC Hammer. He wasn't in it to be one of these fake niggas, you know what I mean? Pun kept it gritty, you know what I'm saying? So, and you could tell that with his rhymes. You could tell the shit he knew about, the shit he was talking about in his music. The niggas loved hip-hop. So, I mean, he's always gonna be that player.
Terror Squad would go on to release an album as a group called Terror Squad The Album on September 21st, 1999.
Till my last breath, I'll have death before dishonor. Come on. And welcome drama. Cause where we gotta see but live or die. I seen a nigga sky half a block cause he thought his shit was fly. Fuck the battle in this World War IV. Hand me the red phone. I leave the crowd, Les Miserables up in the dead zone. You motherfuckers better get protection. I got a Smith & Wesson strong enough to launch you up with the Jetsons.
And at this point, Joe and Pun were extremely close. Together they were like the perfect team. Joe says all the time how Pun used to actually help him write hit records.
And even though I discovered Big Pun, the truth is he taught me how to make hit records. So he's literally sat me down. Like, I wouldn't do that for nobody no more. Literally sat me down, was like, yo, right about here, you gotta talk to the girls, Joe. Right about here, we gotta keep it gangster. Here, we gotta keep the work. And he literally showed me.
Pun was also often affiliated with the Digging in the Crates crew, the same group Big L was a part of, who's another godlike MC who was taken away from us way too soon. Speaking of Big L though, he just got his own street named after him the other day in Harlem. Fire. About time, for real. Pun was featured on a few songs with them like Where Ya At and Drop It Heavy. At this point, Pun was on top of the world, bruh. Got all the fame and glory, but deep down he was dealing with depression and his weight was spiraling out of control. And he wanted to lose weight, even went to a camp that would help him lose weight, but when he came back, he just gained all that weight back. His health was getting worse and worse, and at one point, Cuban Link described in a Vlad interview that he was having hard times getting dressed, using the bathroom, and his wife was pretty much doing everything for him. Cuban Link didn't like seeing him like that, you know, because he knew how he once used to look like, and would tell him how he's gaining a lot of weight, and saw how he had a bed inside the studio with a mic right next to the bed. It got to the point where he had too many yes men around him. They would do whatever he said for him. He would be the only one telling Pun that, you know, like tough love, like you just being lazy. While Pun would be like, oh, you're the only one that says that. And Link would say, yeah, I know. I'm your brother. You just say things to manipulate the situation to make yourself more comfortable because of your weight. There will be arguments here and there between the two, but they'll just get cool again like 30 minutes later.
Pun, right here in the building. Yo, Pun, what's going on? We was just talking about you on the show last week, because you and Fat Joe and all y'all represented at the Apollo, ripped it down. You know, I like the whole way y'all can come out on stage and not waste no time and get right to business. I like that about y'all. When you come out, first of all, tell everybody how you got started before we get into all that.
Got started, you know what I'm saying, just being in the street, rhyming in the ciphers, talent shows, battles, and eventually, you know what I'm saying, Joe picked up on that because Joe was always into that. You know, Joe never missed the Apollo, our talent show, our battle. So, you know, cats started knowing about me, you know, my name started getting around, underground, you know what I'm saying, and I just hooked up with a few heads like Joe and other cats. They put me on wax.
I hear you. You're doing your thing. I even remember a couple years ago when they had the Hood Shock at the State Building in Harlem. That came out and ripped it. You came on stage, the crowd went bananas when you came out and did that joint with Joe. How'd that feel to get that type of love from people?
I felt dope, you know what I'm saying? Everybody always give me love, that's one thing, you know what I'm saying? But it was even dope because that was the first time I performed on the same stage as Biggie. And Biggie came in there and tore down to the next level after that. So that's what I really remember that day, you know what I'm saying? That was the best.
That's gonna be in your memories forever, something like that.
Forever, B.I.G. forever.
So where Big Pun is gonna be at from, you know, where's the next step? You got the video out, got the single out, you know, the album gonna drop and all of that?
We're gonna drop the next video with the album like in February. Right. Then it's all from there.
Just mad hot joints and that's it, you know what I'm saying?
Man, I don't know how to explain it, man. I'm just happy, I'm happy with it.
You want to shout out any of your peoples in there?
I want to shout out the Temple Squad, my man Cuban Link over there. Acting shy, you know what I'm saying? All the ladies in the clubs, come down to Cats. We got it every Wednesday and Friday doing it. Come down, represent 6 Boogie.
No doubt. My man Big Pun right here. We doing our thing. Big Pun style. Doing it up. Big shout out to Joey Crack too. We don't forget Joey Crack, right?
Temple Squad, Joey Crack, no doubt. Right?
Word up. We're going to be right back after this entertainment vibe.
Domestic abuse was a thing inside the household, unfortunately. There's even surveillance footage that Pun installed in his house, pistol whipping his wife, Liza.
I remember when we went to get our marriage license, I had a black eye. And I'm like, you know, there's something wrong with this. It could be the slightest thing. He took a bat and he batted my leg. I couldn't walk like for a month.
When Big Pun installed security cameras in the house, the videotape captured his violent behavior.
There was always guns in our house all the time. And he was looking for this MAC-10. It was usually under the pillow. I retrieved the gun and I give it to him. And right there on the video, you see he just pistol with me. Just hit me across the face. I was like, oh my God. I thought my eye popped out. I was in so much pain and I was so livid. And I took the shotgun, clank, clank, and I'm standing there on the top of the stairs. If you look at the tape, then you see him at the bottom of the stairs looking up, yelling. I never really wanted to kill my kid's father, so I ended up putting the shotgun down.
On February 6th of 2000, Pun was telling his sister that he was actually going to get stomach surgery.
That weekend, he was Chris again. He brought his family, his sister came down, my mom stood over. It was the greatest weekend I had. That night before his sister left, we went downstairs to the pool. It was like 2, 3 in the morning.
He was just so happy. He was playing with us and his little nieces and nephews.
There was no arguments, there was no drama. Everything was just perfect. That whole night was perfect.
But unfortunately, it was already too late. The next day, he was having a rough time breathing and eventually leading him to collapse. Medicals recall that his time was already up, and at the young age of 28 years old, Big Pun passed away of a heart attack.
That morning, exactly, like the night before, it had to be the best day. I don't know if he like knew that something was happening soon or whatever, but like he flew his sister out, my aunt and my cousins, her children, from Florida. And we was all in the hotel pool. They let us use the pool at any time because he was who he was. So it was midnight. We all chilling in the pool, and it was just an amazing experience. And then that next morning, he was real tired. So when we left for school, I remember vividly. I saw him sleeping on the bed because it was a double room type thing. So we walked through the door. My mom's like, "We got to go to school." So I didn't really get to say bye to him or any words to him and stuff like that. So I saw him there. Then we was in school chilling. Then my uncle picked us up early. So it seemed like a good time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he picked us up early, and he seemed a little distressed, but again, I'm 6 and he's on the phone with my mom and not really saying anything definitive. At that time, he was in the hospital. He already had started having a stroke. There was a lot of water in his lungs, and they were working on him, so they didn't have anything definitive yet. But he was calling for a checkup. So by the time we got to my grandmother's house, we're all playing around, and then my mother comes and we sort of look at her face, but we didn't really know. So she sat us down and she's like, "Yeah, I got something to tell y'all." And she, essentially she told us like, "Your father passed away, and he died." And then like, "Do y'all know what that means?" And she she broke it down and she let us know what happened. And initially I started laughing because he was known to do some pretty crazy pranks. I thought he was gonna pop out the closet with a super soaker or something like that. Like I've seen, like I've heard like while he was alive, like I've heard like gunshots downstairs. We run down and somebody's dead on the floor, and we're like, "Oh my God!" And he'll pop up and there's just ketchup on his forehead. Like, so this was something that he did. But once I saw my mother crying and my sisters crying, I'm the youngest, and my sisters crying and my uncle and reality kind of set in on me, and that was the first time I cried. He didn't like us crying while he was alive, but that was the first time I shed a tear, and I tried not to afterward. And his funeral was the first time I got to actually acknowledge how huge of an artist he was. Because again, I'm 6 years old. I don't really understand the impact or the magnitude of what it means to be a legendary rapper. But we was at Ortiz Funeral Home up in Castle Hill in the Bronx, and when I say like literally the streets, like it was a parade, like it was thousands upon thousands of people just for blocks clogged, just there to see him, and people that never met him in his life dropping to their knees in front of the casket and ripping their shirts off and crying, and it's like.
The popular Latino rapper known as Big Pun has died. His real name was Christopher Rios, and he died of an apparent heart attack at White Plains Hospital. He was only 27. Sandra Bookman is live in the Longwood section of the Bronx with more on the life and death of Big Pun. Sandra?
Bill, the Bronx is remembering the man they called Big Pun here tonight. We're at the intersection of Westchester Avenue and Rogers Place. Fellow rap artists and graffiti artists are building a mural in his honor. They say that's how they want to see him remembered in this community. They say that, yes, Big Pun was a big man in size, but he was also, more importantly, a big talent with an even bigger soft spot for the Bronx. No question, Big Pun had become a big player in the hip-hop game, featured along with fellow Bronx-based rapper Fat Joe in the new Jennifer Lopez video. Tonight, at radio station Hot 97, New York's hip-hop heavyweight, news of the rapper's death shocked the staff who knew him and the listeners who loved him.
A bunch of people have been calling, and I'm so sorry to say that the rumors are true and that it is true that we lost Big Pun this afternoon to a heart attack.
I'd like to send my condolences to Big Pun and his family. Fat Joe, one piece, I love you. This is David from the Bronx. Biggest condolences to Big Pun and his family. Pun, we love y'all all. You were the best.
27-year-old Christopher Rios, Big Pun's real name, first had an underground hit with the single I'm Not a Player, and then he became the first Latino rapper to go platinum. In an interview on ABC7's Tiempo back in 1998, he said he was proud of that success, but even more proud of his roots in the Bronx.
I mean, I got a bigger house now. Yeah. Nice car, but I'm still in the Bronx.
And tonight, fellow Bronx rappers paid tribute to a man they say always honored his community, painting a mural they believe will be a lasting legacy.
Not only was he a friend, but he was a Latino who was representing for our people, and we feel that he's definitely someone that should be remembered.
Tonight, Christopher Rios leaves behind a wife and 3 young children. His new album, which he had just completed, is due out in April. His new album.
Trying to cruise through the avenue while my peoples is popping bottles up in Suez rendezvous. Yo, it's my turn. I demand my respect. Give me my burn. August slam through your neck. I'm living in madness, giving the Spanish prompts. I go to habit, loading the bus of a backflip, taking the passes, ramming the court in the asses. It's not a game, it's war. Plain and raw. Blood stain the war. When I bring the chain with the sword.
And 2 months later, his posthumous album Yeah Baby was released, debuting at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and sold 179,000 copies first week, and would eventually go platinum in 2017. In the following year of 2001, Fat Joe would executively produce a compilation album called Endangered Species, which was actually supposed to be the name of Yeah Baby, but I guess it got changed. This album had a bunch of classic songs on it and some new material.
On the celly, blown bands, chrome rims, shining like the stone gems on my gold rings.
His wife Liza actually claimed that she only received a small royalty check from this project, and in response, auctioned off Pun's Terror Squad medallion in July of 2005.
A lot of controversy, and his wife, they say that she's living in a shelter. Now, people, especially on Twitter and all that, they're asking us, how can this be happening? Why doesn't Fat Joe take care of her?
That's a great question. What happens is, after Pun passed, we put together an album. She told me that she was broke. Now, mind you, Big Pun made millions and millions of dollars while he was alive. He spent a lot of money, 10 Mercedes-Benzes, 10 motorcycles, whatever the case may be. I had no clue that he was broke. She steps to me and she says, Joe, I'm broke. We got no money. I said, well, listen, people not going to feel sorry for you because you're Big Pun's wife forever. I'm going to get you some money. Now, what do you do? So she tells me, I like to do hair. I said, well, why don't you go to school for doing hair, and maybe you can open up 2-3 beauty salons and continue to support your family, because no one's going to continue to pay your bills because you're Big Pun's wife.
Maybe for a while in the beginning, but not forever.
Exactly. The point is, if I died, I don't expect no one to give my wife $5. We do the album Endangered Species.
Right. Which was after
No
Pun
one
died.
got paid on this album after Pun's death. No producer, no studio, no rapper, not me, no one. The full advance, which was hundreds of thousands of dollars, went to Liza Rios and the family. So after he passed, she had hundreds of thousands of dollars. I thought I did the right thing, Cypher.
Right.
Like, I thought I did the right thing. She spent the money unwisely, right? She comes back and says, Joe, I'm doing bad again. We give her a check out of our pockets. We say, yo, we got to take care, because at the end of the day, Pun's my brother. I take care of over 30 people for the last 15 years. Like, 30 friends that they got to pay their family bills, they got to pay their rents, they got to pay whatever. Why wouldn't I take care of Pun's wife and Pun's kids? You understand?
Of course.
So now she comes back for another check. I look out for her. I write her a check. Now the controversy happened to where, how could you expect to live off of Big Pun's name, being his wife, and you putting out DVDs of him pistol whipping you, and you calling him an animal, and you calling him a beast? This is the problem I have with Liza Rios, is that at the same time of saying, I'm Pun's wife, take care of me, I'm Pun's wife, she's just
ran his name through the
basically
mud.
disrespecting his legacy.
Right.
Like, if you have problems at home, and which to everybody, I don't believe that no man should pick up their hands for no woman in the universe, and I never seen him do that personally. So after this DVD, she knows why mine and her communication has stopped. Because I felt like that was disrespect to Pun, to his kids, whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, she is Pun's wife, so I never wanted to go back and forth with her and make it look ugly, because I wanted to respect Pun. But it's been 10 years later. Every time I drop an album, she comes out with a full press explosion at Fat Joe, you know. Yo, Fat Joe, he sucks. The truth is, I did the right thing.
Well, but Joe, here's the thing. This is the tough part. What do we do now? Because the story is that his kids, your man's kids, are in a shelter. A, do you know if that's true? And B, regardless of Liza's mistakes, what can we do?
Whenever I've tried, let me tell you something. Whenever I tried to reach out to the family and stuff like that, I would love to have his kids in my house. You understand what I'm saying? But they've been brainwashed to believe that Joe robbed them, that Joe ain't take care of them. I have royalty statements. I have never made $1 off of Big Pun since he passed away. She, honestly, and I don't want to start this because I know what it's going, she has to find a job somehow, some way. She has to find a job.
And speaking of her, in 2021, her and Fat Joe got into a little back and forth over on Instagram. Here's some of the things that were said. Also on March of 2021, on the corner of East Fordham Road and Grand Concourse, they officially named it after Big Pun, and it's now called Big Pun Plaza. Fire. Notably though, Fat Joe was not in attendance. Cuban Link has something to say about that. He was like, oh, you say you don't want to stand next to us, me and Pun's family, you didn't start a foundation, this could have happened 20 years ago. You say he's your twin and you love him, but what did you really do for him, you feel me? He was saying a lot, and hey, how they feel is how they feel. It's a shame it came down to this though. I don't want to get too much into the drama. There's even people that claim that Pun and Joe had beef amongst each other. Nori had something to say about that actually, and Nori loved Pun.
I want niggas to know that there was no beef with y'all at all. At all, because that's what a lot of people think.
I told I never had an argument. Like, I don't know what people talk about.
A lot of people think that y'all had a beef, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, with the case that y'all had going, a lot of people think y'all had beef. And I'd be like, damn, I be wanting to speak out so much. But the thing is, I also realize, like, damn, if I speak out for one thing, I got to speak out for everything. So I just want to say this on here. Yo, Joe, I love you. Thank you so much, Tony. I love you. But
love you too, brother.
Let's just be clear. You know, we ain't perfect. None of us is perfect. But if Pun was here, Pun will still have the biggest TS chain on. VVS Diamonds. VVS Diamonds.
Christopher Lee Rios is one of the most charismatic, lyrical, and probably the most underrated rapper of all time. Even the legend Daddy Yankee praised that man. He will always be remembered as one of the all-time greats. His pen game was crazy. Work ethic was up there. Man, gone way too soon. Rest in peace to the legend, Big Punisher.
No child. Yeah, Big Pun. Yeah, no child. Yeah, just get it on. Yeah, more fun. Free Stid House. Hot 97. Hot 97. Hey yo, my murderous rap, verbal attack is actual fact. Tactical tracks match perfectly with graphical stats. Half of you lack magical dap of tragical rap that tackles you back in shackles and laughs at you. That's mathematical madness I'm on. Sadness the strongs, the marriage and bond of havoc and song. Massacres join us if Picasso lays you. There's lots of hateful skeletons locked in the closet of my castle of grade school. I'm apostle of grade school.